Hello, this is Dr. Whiting, Director of the Institute of Nutritional Science. My phone number is 1-888-454-8464. You can visit our information website at www.thecandidaclinic.com. My email is askthedoc@healthyinformation.com. Over the years, my Oxy Aloe formula has been able to help hundreds of people with issues such as asthma, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, black mold, and of course, Candida or yeast overgrowth. What follows are just a sampling of the many success stories from real people who discovered and used our Oxy Aloe formula. Some of them just needed a kit or two, while many have chosen to continue to use the formula because it makes them feel so good. Please remember that this product performs at its best when used with one of our full spectrum vitamin formulas. So sit back, listen, and be inspired. There is hope.
This is my testimonial. I used the Oxy Aloe flush for Candida, and if I had not, I would not be here to tell the tale. I had a dreadful infestation. It was so bad that it was in my bloodstream, even got into my eyes and ruined my retinas. I have poor vision, but thanks to my daughter who worked with her Curves Club at the time, Dr. Whiting got her onto this product to get it for me. I did the flush, then I needed to do it a second time, and I'm telling you, it brought me back from death's door, literally. And I am free. My naturopath suggests I do a maintenance once a year, which I'm just about to do again. But anyway, I'm alive, thanks to Oxy Aloe. So thank you, Dr. Whiting. Thanks for Oxy Aloe. Goodbye.
I'm calling you to talk to you a little bit about the Oxy Aloe product that I started last summer. I have asthma, and so my oxygen level has never been really good. And so when I talked to Kelly last year, she suggested that I might try this Oxy Aloe, that it might help me. About a month after I started taking that, I went to the doctors and I had them check my level of oxygen again, and it had gone up about 7 points, which to me was a big deal just in a month. The other thing that it works for me is that I don't get as winded as I used to. Sometimes I used to get winded just walking up the steps in my house and working out, and so it's all much easier now. So I have really enjoyed this, and I will continue to use the Oxy Aloe as long as I see that it's really making my breathing much, much easier.
So thank you for sharing my story about using the Oxy Aloe. I was first introduced to it when I was in a curved nutrition class, and there were several different things that it had claimed that it would help that piqued my interest. But one of them mostly was asthma. I suffer from asthma that has continually every year worsened, and prior to me using it, I was so sick that we were worried that I was going to be put in the hospital. And noticing that every year I was getting worse and worse, I really feared that next winter, when my asthma gets so bad, that I would definitely be in the hospital. And so I had thought, well, I'll get it and try it. If it doesn't work, I won't get it again. And due to my budget, I was only able to get one bottle the first time, and I wasn't able to take it 2 or 3 times a day. What I just did was I took one dose in the morning before I ate, and within a week and a half, my asthma symptoms started going away, and I was just so shocked. Even my husband was like, "You're breathing better, you're having more energy." It was just really incredible, because when I bought the stuff, I just thought, if it'll just keep me out of the hospital sooner, I'll be happy. I just expected to be really, really sick, but just keep me out of the hospital. And I was so surprised to find out that just the chest congestion and the bronchial tubes were opening up, and I have rhinitis too, which is swelling of the nasals. That was starting to open up, and so I just really testify if there's anybody that has asthma, give it a try. Just, even if it's one dose in the morning, if you can do more, I'm sure it would help you feeling better. But for me, it kept me out of the hospital this winter, and I am taking it ever since. And so just give it a try, because it really works.
Just to say a few words about this product for anyone who is at the end of their rope as I was, because truly I was at the end of my rope. The insidious thing about this whole thing is that all this crud just slides and finds you for years before you're even aware of its presence. In my case, it was Candida, black mold, and God knows what else. By the time I realized something was wrong, it had quite a foothold, to say the least. But with this product, the difference is night and day. I'm telling you, the results are absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing. The layers of crud that just suddenly begin to fall away are astonishing. I was amazed. And it also gave me insight into the depth of the problem, at least in my case. I was absolutely brimming with this stuff, and really, all unbeknownst to me, I began to cleanse. As far as I'm concerned, Dr. Whiting deserves the equivalent of Nobel Peace Prize for it's fantastic, because quite frankly, anything else could have restored my health. I tried cleansing the old-fashioned way, and frankly, I just didn't have the discipline for it. It would have taken me years. I just kept winding up back at square one. So I felt hopeless until I found Dr. Whiting. But the ease of his product is just phenomenal. The vitality you begin to feel, I began to feel my whole body in a new way. It went beyond my wildest expectations. Everything I thought was simply aging just disappeared. The bags under my eyes, the dark circles, my weight changed, symptoms of arthritis setting in just vanished. Even my eyebrows look different. My vision has improved. My eyes are no longer red. My hearing, my breathing, everything has improved. It's truly astonishing. You don't realize that all those layers of crud become such a part of you that you begin to mistake them for you. My face looks different. It feels different to the touch from the outside, and it feels different to the touch from the inside. I look 20 years younger. My thinking and memory have improved dramatically, and I'm so grateful for that, because I was aware that my thinking wasn't always clear. My cognitive skills seemed to be slipping a little bit. Even my motor skills at times were not what they had been, and that scared me, frankly. And all that has been restored to me. It's all gone. It was all symptomatic of all this crud. And this part, and it was restored to me with such ease. All I have to do is take a capsule. Last week of February 2008, I woke up and could not raise my arms above my head. I had to use both hands to do things like pulling the covers up over me, putting on a jacket, squeezing toothpaste, could not dress myself without help, and so on. After testing, like the doctor said, I had a little fibromyalgia. I changed my diet drastically and eat as a diabetic would, in very small amounts and not regularly. My fibromyalgia settled in my arms and severely in both my wrists. I went online and found the fibromyalgia starter kit. I started with ToxiCleanse, and within 1 week, my pain was diminished. By the end of the second week, I was feeling much better. After the mega dose, I started with Liquid Daily Oxy-Aloe. At this stage, I can honestly say I am 95% pain-free and can do almost everything without much discomfort. It is so nice to be independent once again. I fully expect to be 100% pain-free when I am taking the Fibro Ease and the Liquid Daily Supreme for the rest of my life. I thank God every day for Dr. Whiting's success and the help he has given us for a healthier life. By the way, I tell everyone with fibromyalgia to go to your website and check it out, listen to the videos, and read about the products. Thanks for being there.
What I can tell you is, from over the course of the last 4 weeks that I've been taking OxyFlush, my symptoms have diminished substantially. In the field of work I'm in, I'm a law student. Being clear and sharp are of the utmost importance, and this product has really helped me revive what I used to be. And just going forward, I can't even imagine how much better I'll be within the next 4 weeks, 6 weeks. So really, it's so distinguished, so unparalleled, and it's something that I really recommend to every single individual who's suffering from this ailment, to the slightest inclining to that of one of the greatest, being in bed all day, not being able to move, because it will get you back to where you need to be, and it will help you. So as a customer, someone completely unbiased, I recommend this to anyone inflicted.
It was the only thing that got me over a humongous yeast infection that I had been left with after being on a medicine that caused me great intestinal problems. After doctors and products, this was the only thing that cured me and got my life back on track. And I also used the Megadoff since then, and I'm feeling great. So anyone that's having intestinal or yeast problems, I totally recommend the Oxy Aloe. It works. It's the only thing that works.
My daughter was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis at age 3. We suffered long and hard with her disease, and it was very debilitating to her, especially with a lot of pain. At one point, she had to crawl to the bathroom in the morning to go to the bathroom because her pain was so great. We were searching for an answer, and we found a holistic doctor, chiropractor, who was wonderful, and he decided to help us get her life back in order and changing her immune system. He told us that her immune system was completely in crisis because of the foods and the additives, the preservatives, and the sugars that she's eaten, and that she had severe Candida. And so he had worked with her, and we put her on a special diet, and still she would have pain if she accidentally ate something that had any additives or preservatives or sugar that we didn't know. He came across a product called Oxy Aloe, and the time that we came in, he said, "I think I have found the answer for Rachel." And so he suggested that we start giving her 1 tablespoon every morning before she would eat anything. First thing she does in the morning is take 1 tablespoon of the Oxy Aloe, and then waits 30 minutes before she eats anything. We noticed right away that even if she would eat things that could be questionable, she didn't have pain. And we marveled at it, and we told Dr. Kenna, we told her chiropractor about it, and he said that that's great. That's what I thought it would do for her, and I'm so excited for her. She has been taking Oxy Aloe for 5 years now, and she is every morning, and she takes it in the morning, 30 minutes, so every morning we're killing the Candida. She actually cheats a little more than she should. She eats a little more sugar than she should, and she still doesn't have a reaction right after she eats it. We keep her away from additives and preservatives as much as we can, but, they're hidden in lots of places, and she still doesn't have the pain. Her arthritis is in remission. She does have some flare-ups around this time of year where her joints will be swollen a little bit, but she doesn't have a pain as much. But she doesn't react to the foods, and that's what's the amazing part, is that she can live a more normal life as we see it. We're eating foods when we go out, or, we're on vacation, and she doesn't have a reaction like she did before. We are so grateful for Oxy Aloe and can't imagine life without it, and we're so grateful that Dr. Kevin found it. And that is my story of my daughter, who is now 11 years old, and she is doing well and in remission and living a more normal life than she did before, and I'm so grateful for that. Thank you.
Ever since I was about 15 years old, my health began gradually but noticeably deteriorating. I was experiencing problems that most people my age didn't even know about, and I found myself becoming less able to enjoy a full and vibrant life. I found myself asking, what is wrong with me? But I could not find any answers, even though I knew within myself that something needed to be changed. So over the years, I'd taken many courses of antibiotics, and I had the stresses of extensive travel, final exams, and life as a performing artist all putting huge pressure on my poor little body, which was really doing its best but couldn't handle the situation. So as a result, I lost my vitality at quite a young age. I had huge emotional swings, depression, low energy, what felt like below zero immunity, skin problems, digestive problems, and an addiction to eating all the time, and especially bad foods. I had constant yeast infections as a result of binging on those bad foods, and it all became worse and worse as time went on. Being a performing artist is like being an Olympic athlete. It's not good enough to just be acceptable. We need to have extreme endurance, explosive energy, very robust health, and radiate vitality and vibrance. Plus, I also love life and want to be present, enjoying it to the full. And I saw all those around me enjoying it, enjoying life, and I couldn't understand why I hadn't been blessed with the energy to enjoy it myself. Luckily, my mum, who is a holistic physio herself and always on the lookout for new things, told me to go to Dr. Whiting's website, and she also bought me the OxyFlush kit. Taking the Oxy Aloe, I noticed a huge difference within days. I was sleeping better, my face and abdomen were less puffy, and I could concentrate like I remember I once could. I found myself amazed at the end of the day with what I had managed to achieve in one day, which used to take me a whole week to do. My mindset became much more positive as I found myself able to cope with more stress due to having more energy. Unexpectedly, I also reduced my food intake as my food cravings stopped, and when I was hungry, I wanted to eat better foods. And it all sounds too good to be true, I know, and I almost can't believe it myself. But I'm so grateful to Dr. Whiting and his team and to my mum for providing this treatment to me. The detailed and clear information on the website helped me to learn to see my body as an instrument that needs to be properly calibrated. And I hope that more people my age learn to do this so that we don't end up with chronic diseases later on in life. But I am a real person, and it did work for me, and it has actually turned my life around. I'm now becoming the person I always wanted to be, so much happier and more energetic and achieving and enjoying life. So if you don't feel like yourself, if you feel like you don't have the vitality that you know you should, and think that you may have a Candida overgrowth, do something about it and try the OxyFlush. Your health is your life, and I wish you both in abundance. Good luck.
Hello, my name is Lacey, and this is my testimonial for the Oxy Aloe Flush product. This may sound a little bit strange, but I really do feel like this is one of the most important things that I've done in my life in a really long time. And I say that because if you are listening to this, you are probably currently suffering, as I did for a really long time. I know what it's like to feel that helpless feeling. You just feel like giving up. I know what it's like to go to doctor after doctor and get so frustrated because you're not getting help. And be told that, your symptoms, that there's nothing wrong with you, or that your symptoms are in your head. I know exactly what that's like. Just to give you a little bit of background, my problems began, I guess, about 8 years ago when I'm still really young, in my very early 20s, and I began to have just some bladder infections, and I went to a doctor that I like to refer to as prescription happy. I kept getting bladder infections, and so she decided that it would be best if she put me on antibiotics as a preventative measure. So I was on antibiotics straight for about a year. I never thought that could ever possibly hurt me because I trusted my doctor, and I didn't like having these bladder infections. They were annoying, they were uncomfortable. But guess what? That created a whole other world of problems that I dealt with for about a decade. I was on the antibiotics, and I noticed that I just after a while of being on them, I just kept getting yeast infections. Off and on, I would take medicine for the yeast infection and it would come right back. It would go away and come right back. And it was just this vicious, miserable cycle. Well, I think about a year ago, it was a little over a year ago, last spring, I think that one day my body just had reached its lifetime maximum of abuse, and it was just pissed off. And I woke up, and it seemed like it happened out of nowhere, but I began to break out in hives all over my body. I developed thrush on my tongue. I had a really odd itchy rash, some kind of fungal rash on my hairline. I was having bladder spasms, which are extremely painful. I was having severe vaginal yeast infections beyond anything that I'd possibly ever had before. And I went to the doctor and was prescribed some antifungals, and all of these things just happened all at once, by the way. And it was these medicines that had helped before, at least get rid of them temporarily, were not doing anything. I was miserable, and to top it all off, I had just gotten engaged. And let me tell you, I was not a happy bride to be. I was utterly miserable. I couldn't sleep at night because of the bladder spasms, the pain, the severe pelvic pain. It was so uncomfortable. I know what it's like to be up in agony, sleepless nights, being up, going to 24-hour drugstores, just trying to find something that could help me get through the night. It got to the point where I just had to pretty much dope myself up to, take sleep aids just to sleep through the night. I was so miserable and in so much pain. And I just began to feel helpless. I went to urologist after urologist, specialist after specialist, gynecologist after gynecologist. I had tests done, blood work, everything, you name it. And they were just like, I don't know, what's wrong with you? I don't know, nothing, it's just, you just have a yeast infection. That's it. And no one was helping me. And there were so many tears shed, so much frustration, so much anger, and a mountain of medical debt. And I was still really young, so it was so frustrating. I got to such a desperate point last summer, about 6 weeks before my scheduled wedding date. And I stayed up all night. It was just one really particularly miserable night, impossible to sleep. And I did a lot of research on YouTube, and I did a lot of Googling and looked at a lot of health forums. And I discovered Dr. Whiting and the Oxy Aloe Flush product. When I read the testimonials, and as you are and listened to them as you are doing now, I was very reluctant to buy it. I really thought, this is probably not going to work for me, because I had tried so much. I had tried over-the-counter, I'd tried prescriptions, over-the-counter, I'd gone to vitamin shops and health food stores and gotten antifungal herbal products, cleanses, you name it. I spent several grand already. And I was like, this is expensive, and I'm about to get married, and I really can't afford this, and this is probably not going to work again, and then I'm just going to be even more pissed off and even more broke and still miserable. I really did think that was probably going to happen. But I decided, I was so desperate and so miserable, what the hell, I'll just do it. Because I think when you hit such a desperate point, you're willing to pretty much do anything in hopes that it will help you when you're just so desperate for help. And that's exactly where I was. I was desperate. I ordered the product, and it took about 4 or 5 long days to get to me. When it arrived, I began to take it immediately, and according to the instructions. And about a week in, I felt a shift. I felt different. I was still having flares. I was still not normal. I was still having symptoms, but instead of pelvic pain with the vaginal yeast infections, I was just having these vaginal yeast infections, and the pelvic pain was gone. I noticed one morning my thrush in my mouth was gone after having been there for 4 solid months every single day. Few days after that, the rashes were going away. And then about a month in, my symptoms, every single one that I just named to you, was completely gone. I was able to enjoy my wedding. I was able to enjoy my honeymoon with absolutely no symptoms whatsoever. And that meant the world to me. And it was nothing short of a miracle in my life. Because I just had almost given up. I suffered off and on for almost a decade, but I suffered badly for 4 solid months, day and night, nonstop, no relief. And the fact that my symptoms were gone was just unbelievable. I am so incredibly grateful to Dr. Whiting. I'm so grateful it almost brings me to tears, and I really mean that. I'm amazed at the research that he's done, what he's put into creating this product. I tried other oxygen products too, by the way, that did not do anything, or would help slightly. Nothing, and I mean nothing, has helped me personally the way that the Oxy Aloe Flush product is. I also want to say that if you do choose to buy this product, if you're suffering as I was, and if you do choose to try this, you have to keep the faith and you have to be diligent, and don't get frustrated and become disheartened if your symptoms don't go away overnight. Dr. Whiting explained to me that healing happens in layers, and if you've been suffering for a really long time, and if your body's been toxic for a really long time, you may have to be on the product a while to really cleanse your body of what's in it. And for me, that was systemic yeast. I've decided that I will periodically do some routine cleanses once or twice a year with the Oxy Aloe Flush, and that's perfectly fine with me, because it gave me my life back, and I don't have to suffer anymore. I am so grateful. I will gladly buy the product a couple times a year and keep my body yeast free, because it's an amazing product. I believe in it, and I wanted to share it with all of you because I believe that it's our duty in this life to help other people by sharing things that have helped us. Thank you, Dr. Whiting, from the bottom of my heart, and to all of you, I wish you healing with this product. God bless.
First of all, thanks for taking the time to listen to these inspiring stories. You can reach my office with any questions you might have at 1-888-454-8464. But please visit our website dedicated to Candida and the process at www.thecandidaclinic.com. Should you wish to email me, you can do so at askthedoc@healthyinformation.com. Again, thanks for listening, and keep in mind, there's always hope for recovery.